Leviticus 19 verse 13. Is it? Oh, Leviticus 20 verse 13. It says, if a man lies with a male as he lies with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. In this one, he said death. Their blood shall be upon them. If a man marries a woman, and so it is clear and more straightforward in the Bible of the reactions that Jehovah wants to sort of perform on gay person or male to male activity or sexual activity. It is not a secret. So if you are in the this religion or this faith, and this is written here, you can't deny it. And you cannot go out there and still declare yourself of something which the laws are perfectly clear. But people of that nature have, debate themselves only on the grounds that that is not the only thing. Adultery is spoken here. Lies is spoken here. Fornication is spoken here. Backbiting is spoken here. I mean, whatever you can see it as minority or like simple or small sin. There's nothing like small sin. It's all within the same laws specifically being revealed. There's so many things that everybody in the church is offended, is a victim of, or somehow is offended. So on that ground, they also then begin to sort of use that to qualify themselves, because people make confessions plainly. Even if they don't make confession, it's obvious and plain of everybody, being a victim of anything or any of these things. So why should they alone? So they will not agree easily. Now, to me, to my view, I feel if you are in any of these class, what it will end up is that all these groups or anybody who find himself in a particular sin, will end up with his group of people who are also similar to what he does. It's like if you are sick of malaria people will be put to malaria rooms, and they are all malaria people in one room, and they will be treated, or they will be put aside in a different section. They will be treated together because they are all having the same symptoms, So that's how it sort of looks like. Then let gays build their own church. We probably will have a church where it will be gays, because we already have pubs, discos where there's only gays there. Lesbians have their own, and straight people have their own, and everybody will have their own place. I mean, what sort of community would they be then? Separation, divisions are happening through man, even in families. A family will run away from a family and move and live somewhere, and they will build their own family, and they completely will be isolated from the rest of the extended family if they don't. We have people through means of force have ended up the same way. The Jamaicans, as we see as black people, are completely so strongly related to the African people. But due to the historical issues that happens, they are completely aliens now. They are completely aliens. None of them can relate to anybody in Africa now. Even though we have to accept and know that this is what it is. They can't directly relate to any African or people of that the background, because they've completely been isolated in so many ways, cut off from the family, and some of them have completely become different people. And even sometimes not through that issue, I'm just using that scenario, but there are others where even if you travel outside and have children outside of another country, those children grow up, and if they don't find out to go back, reach back to where they came from or where their ancestral parents are, they completely become, aliens to their ancestors or and they build their life from there. And that could be the case where humanity have now become isolated. There's that divisions among families and divisions in so many ways that we have ended up having countries having different, sort of people and different looks. If we accept the truth or the Bible or the Quran's version of story being the true way of how things, were created, then we are bound to think along the line I'm trying to present here, that we have been divided based on these means. But if not, and that creation came in various, like Asians were created with their looks and what they are, and creation came among black people and they were created in their looks and what they are. White people were created as they are. People with blue eyes or green eyes were created as they are. But if creation came as one person, two people, let's say male, female, that is how creation came about, then we have to think along this line. So to help us in a way of trying to search him, I think that's how we are proceeding, because we have nothing else to sort of relate to or link to except these that has counseled us in all our lives. If you go to any tribe or any group of, that is what most think along the same line. Even evolution has come in from belief of one ultimate source, and gradually going into a state where we are, we're spreading and we're becoming more and we are growing in number. So we came from a minute small group or small one particular single state of existence, and we have spread, all around. We've multiplied, that kind of thing. So if we look at things that way, we sort of think along that line. But as we have seen here, the gays and the lesbians have an issue. It's more specific of a gay, like a man to man, not necessarily a woman. But with the Bible, it sort of reveals all that, goes a bit to show that woman to woman, and man to man, that whichever way it is, these acts are wrong in the eyes of Jehovah and Allah. It is no secret. It's not hidden, But the fact that the whole thing comes down and it said that, okay, if God has issues about these things, as I said, he can deal with it, not a man. Because you also have offended. You offend every day. Your offenses are there before you. So why would he delegate such a thing to you to trash or to kill them, whilst he's got hands himself and he has got legs himself? If he wants to kick the gay, he can kick them. If he wants to slap them, he can slap them. Why won't he do it? He has the authority to take life and to give life, both in the Quran and in the Bible. So why won't he do it? Why hasn't he done it? Why would he delegate it to you to do it? We prove the Bible is authentic, the Quran is authentic, and then it makes sense why you should do it. But if we can't prove that, it won't. I'm so sure that it won't be able to prove that as I'm trying to analyze things. Yeah, and I'm already proving that in so many ways. If you're thinking through and adding one to one what is being put out, you understand what you are trying to say here. Now, is it it reveals the practice and the punishment, the death punishment and all. We also know that Allah and Jehovah are saying that there is no point. I gain nothing from punishing you. I have the ability also to make you whatever it is that I choose to. God can create you, and he can recreate. He can take your life and recreate you. So the gay's life can be taken and be recreated. So why should they be, frustrated or God get worried about what they do or what they are not doing? And what if God himself made them that way? Because God knows the future. He knew what they will become when they were like conjured blood or when they were sperms. He knew what they will become. He allowed them to be. And if God is supposed to take their life now, what are the chances that they would have repented later and he'd sort of ignore? But we also know that God knows. So that means he knew that they will never repent. So he has waited all this time, 30 years or 40 years or 50 years or 80 years of that person's life. And that is the time he has now known that they will never repent. So he didn't know that they will repent when they were like sperms. That means God has also got limitations. He doesn't know everything. He doesn't know what will happen of somebody until he's about 80. He's giving you 80 years before he can determine whether you will change or you will not change. And then when she's sure that he will not change, then he will act, take your life, or he will kill you. That's what we're supposed to think. Anyway, it's up to you. The ball is in your court to think about it too, because I know what I'm thinking and I'm making it plain of what I'm thinking. If we want to find out also in Surah in Surah 4, Surah 4:19, it also reveals what